A deeper message was behind the peculiar opening of Yellowstone's 5th season. Episode 10, The Apocalypse of Change. Curiously, the scene didn't continue from the point where the series ended. Rather, the following episode of Yellowstone Season 5 took viewers back in time to Texas, where they saw Rip find a rattlesnake in TA's tent. Upon removing the serpent from the tent, Rip and the rest of the campers realized that their tents had been placed on top of a viper's nest. The Apocalypse of Change opens with a scene from a larger sequence in Texas when Beth visits Rip. This sequence sets the stage for the story's eventual continuation on John's destiny in Yellowstone. There are a lot of snakes in this episode. Rip warns TA not to let them in her tent, and Beth confronts Jamie over his part in John's death after referring to Summer, her father's ex-girlfriend, as a viper. Even though it appears disconnected from the action, the opening scene and these snake references are actually serving a purpose. From the beginning, the Dutton property has sparked controversy. There is friction between Chief Rainwater and his tribe over the land's continued existence. Since, like many parcels of land that have been passed down via white settler families, it stands on territory that was stolen from indigenous people. The Dutton Ranch has internal threats as well, since Jamie is in cahoots with the developer who had John murdered, and there are wealthy developers who would love to acquire the property and develop it into condos or businesses. There is danger on the ranch, and the snake scene represents that. Rather than letting Jamie unrestricted access to the ranch and its assets, the Duttons should take action to protect their property from those who would destroy it. This is highlighted by Rip's comment that TA invited the snakes in by leaving her tent open instead of making sure it was tightly closed. Similarly, the viper's nest that the campsite was perched on in Yellowstone Season 5 represents the internal danger that the ranch is facing. In his plan to ruin his family's ranch, Jamie plans to use the legal system as a weapon. He believes he can undo the land trust that John put up and release the property, allowing him to sell it to developers. The ranch and John's heritage will be wiped out if his proposal to convert it into a casino and related stores goes through. Nevertheless, given the involvement of John's siblings, it's highly unlikely that this will occur, especially given how readily Jamie believes it will. Jamie, in the 10th episode of Yellowstone's 5th season, incorrectly assumes that Beth and Rip lack the financial resources to challenge him in court. In the face of tragedy, her sister is courageous, resourceful, and driven. Following Beth's fight with their adopted brother, Casey is now also involved, so Jamie would be foolish to underestimate either of them. It has been speculated that Yellowstone Season 6 will include Beth, Rip, and Casey running the ranch and tending to the land.